I know whenever you're
You're ready.
okay, cool. All right. Well, hi everyone. So my name is Natalie. Thank you for joining us today. So today I'm going to go ahead and be covering social media content creation. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in the interest of time. But if you guys have any questions at all, like throughout the presentation, feel free to type them into the chat. I can't see you guys or hear you guys, but I can see the chat. So feel free to go ahead and just chime in at any point, just to go ahead and to just ask any questions at all. And we can always have some time for questions at the end too. But yeah, on that note, I will go ahead and get started. Okay, so a little bit about me. So hi, again, I'm Natalie. So I've gone ahead and been working in marketing for the past six or so years. I spent the last 5 years going ahead and working at leading advertising agencies in New York City. Some of my past clients include Dove, Dr. Scholl's, Degree, Some Generation, Tasso Tea, basically the whole Unilever suite plus Dr. Scholl's. And I've also worked as the past 6 years as a freelance digital marketer, working with small business owners to help build their online presence and their brand. So that's a little bit about me. Um, Inside of the chat, really quick, because I like to go ahead and make these, just get to know you guys just a little bit more. I know you can't see you guys, but still would like to go ahead and just know a little bit about you. So if you could enter the chat, just go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone, just your name, what your business or possibly your prospective business that you would like to start in the future. If you currently use social media for your business, and if so, which social platforms do you use? So I'll give you guys a few minutes to go ahead and to type that up. And so you have some things. Okay, so we have Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Nice to go ahead and to meet you. I see we also have Catherine. And if you guys don't have any, if you guys don't have a business or you're not looking to start a business, that's okay too. You can always just put down what social platforms that you go ahead and use in general. Okay, I see we got Betty. Hi, Betty. Diversity equity consultant. I haven't used any social media platforms. Ooh, okay. So brand new. Okay, good. I tried to go ahead and format the slides so that way someone who hasn't necessarily gone ahead and used any social media platforms for the business can still easily dive in. I tried to go ahead and create a good mix, so hopefully you get something good out of it. So hi, Betty. Okay, let's see who else we have. I see we have, I don't think I've heard from Christina. I think there's Julianne, Maria, see Rick, Rosanna, Sandy, and I don't know who went ahead and put F_pond, but hello to you too. Okay, I see Rosie, Rosanna went ahead and she said Rosie's happiness consultant. Yes, on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Oh, okay, good. Okay, across 3 platforms. It's very ambitious. I approve. That's awesome. Then we have Catherine. She uses social media for a marine and canvas upholstery business. Oh, cool. That's very niche. I like. I just went ahead and had to get my Caltree upholstery because my cat constantly scratches at it. So good to go ahead and know. I might need to in the future. The platform is currently Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Awesome. Awesome. Again, ambitious across all 3. Love to see it. Um, I see we have Sharon here for extra credit. That's a-okay. We have Fallon, health and beauty and cleaning services. Oh, very broad, very broad. We've got a lot of mix over there. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Awesome. We have Julianne, business, designing Glory LLC, building and developing websites, promoting me, so just starting the social media as a package to my clients. So excited to oh, okay. Hi, Julianne. Nice to meet someone who else is also in the industry. And then Maria, non-alcoholic beverages, business on Facebook and Instagram. I'm like, I remember I had a recently talked to a separate client who went ahead and also had an alcoholic business. I'm not sure if it might have been you actually, Maria, maybe. And oh, thank you, Rosetta. That's very sweet. Okay. Okay, in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and we'll continue forward. It's nice to meet everyone. Good to go ahead and know that it seems like a good amount of you have gone ahead and used social media for your business before, and all the platforms that you use, I'm going to go ahead and touch on. And then maybe some other ones that you maybe haven't considered that might be good for your business too. So on that note, I'll move forward. Okay, so before we go ahead and get started, I just want to go ahead and, kind of level set slash go ahead and get a good baseline, just a good place to start off, and just let everyone know that like a fear of posting on social media is completely normal. For those of you who have gone unposted in the past or who are completely new to posting, it's nerve-wracking to go ahead and just to start off and to get consistent with it. So it's totally fine. So I always like to go ahead and tell all the clients that I work with that no one starts out perfect. Everyone has to start off somewhere, and improvement is just going to go ahead and come over time with more and more practice. So you want to go ahead and just start small and experiment and just see what resonates with your audience. It's really just a test and learn situation. We all like to think that like we have to start off at like this perfect place and the content has to be just right, but it's really just going to be an over time growth situation. You go ahead and you start your first post, and you're filled with anxiety, and you're just like, oh no, like what if I go ahead and mess up? What if I do this? What if I do that? But at the end of the day, like it's not like a million people are going to go ahead and see your post and go ahead and nitpick at it. Like, sometimes we wish that a million people would see our post, but usually when you go ahead and first start off, that's not how it usually goes. It's over time that you go ahead and start building that audience. The audience grows with you, and it grows with your content, as you go ahead and get better and better. And then lastly, just like to go ahead and think of posting on social is a conversation rather than a performance. I feel like that kind of helps to kind of calm down some of the anxiety, just to go ahead and be like, you're not necessarily having to perform for people, but you're just looking to go ahead and build connections, just sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and you're passionate about your business. So just to go ahead and level set. Okay, cool. All right, now we can get started into the more nitty gritty. So the webinar structure is as follows. So we have the benefits of social media. We'll cover over that first. Then we'll go into the social media landscape, followed by the social platform breakdown, and we go ahead and get a little bit more detail oriented. Then we go ahead and touch on understanding your audience, so we can tailor your posts, and then post creation techniques. So just a overall landscape. All right, so diving right in. Benefits of social media for business. So most of you are on social media, so I'm sure I don't necessarily need to reiterate this too much, but just in terms of benefits in general, driving broad reach and accessibility. We have millions upon billions of people who use social media on a daily basis, as opposed to going ahead and just doing word of mouth for your business, word of mouth marketing, word of mouth sharing for your business. You're going to go ahead and get a lot more eyeballs on social versus what you could go ahead and do with just your own physical body. Provides a level playing field for smaller enterprises to compete on a global scale. So everybody can start a social media page for completely free. You don't have to go ahead and pay anything just to go ahead and start up. You're going to go ahead and build the same, you're going to be paying the same thing. You're going to go ahead and be getting the same type of features. And as someone who, with $1 billion company versus someone who's kind of just started. So very even level playing field, especially when you first go ahead and get started. It's also very cost effective in terms of marketing and advertising. You can go ahead and boost posts on social media for as little as $2 a day, as opposed to more traditional methods of marketing and advertising. So you're going to go ahead and get really good bang for your buck there. With really good tailored ad tools that you can go ahead and use to really tailor to your audience. It's in building brand identity, customer loyalty, allows businesses to humanize their brand, tell their stories, and connect with customers. And it goes ahead and helps to foster trust and loyalty. So over 77% of small business owners use social media to connect with their customers. So if you're not on social media for your business, you're going ahead and missing out on a huge chunk of other small businesses who are going ahead and doing just that. And then over 41% of small businesses also leverage social media as a revenue driver. So if you're not on social, that's a missed opportunity to go ahead and get another stream of revenue for your business, which, everyone likes additional money. So why not? Okay, cool. Okay, so the social media landscape. So I've gone ahead in this the presentation, I've gone ahead and focused on the social platforms that I feel like can provide the most value to most business owners. So it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I've left off X/Twitter and Pinterest. Not to go ahead and say, I feel like X was an easy, obvious choice for me to go ahead and be like, no, we're not doing that. Too controversial. No one needs that. Elon, no one knows what he's doing. But Pinterest, that was one where I was on the fence about a little bit. Pinterest is really great, especially if you have something that's a little more fashion leading or more beauty leading. And it's a good space to go ahead and be in. There's definitely been a more of a resurgence of Pinterest in more recent years. But in terms of the best bang for your buck, I've gone ahead and narrowed it down to these 5 just in the interest of time. But if anybody's interested, I can always send in resources for Pinterest. I have my email at the end of it, so let me know. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on these for now. So starting off with Facebook. So Facebook's one of the largest social media platforms with a really diverse user base, even though it's a little bit, it's become a little bit antiquated, and a lot of people like to go ahead and think that like Facebook is completely dead. It still remains one of the largest social platforms just globally. Almost everybody's on it for the most part. And like I said, really diverse user base. Features there, you got business pages, groups, and advertising, really great local advertising for Facebook. So the overall takeaway there is just scale and connection. Then you have Instagram, visual-oriented platform, going ahead and focusing on photos and video sharing. Main features there being live streaming on IGTV, stories, reels, and a really awesome e-commerce integration. Then you got TikTok, incredibly rapidly growing platform, known for short form video content. TikTok is one of those other ones that's kind of always just a little bit up in the air, not as controversial as like, X or anything like that. But I know, and it's been in the news recently because it seems like, there's another uproar about maybe TikTok being banned again, who knows? But for now, still fair game. Major features there being TikTok's music effects and viral trends. You're going to go ahead and get a really good pulse on just the latest trends and movements on TikTok. Then you have LinkedIn, which is a professional networking platform focused on career development, business, and industry insights. Really good for business to business, for businesses who do business to business instead of business to consumer. Main features there being discussion posts, groups, and messaging. And then finally, you have YouTube, which is one of the largest video sharing platforms with a vast audience and diverse content base. So YouTube was a last minute addition. My only caveat with YouTube, it's a great resource to go ahead and to leverage for businesses. It's a very untapped space, but it's untapped for a reason. And the fact that it does take a lot of effort to go ahead and to make content on YouTube. Less so in more recent years now that they go ahead and have YouTube Shorts. But historically, it's been a little bit of a extra effort to have to go ahead and to make content for YouTube compared to other social platforms. But now YouTube is going ahead and bringing out, I think they have shopping capabilities coming out soon. So it's a place where I feel like more businesses are going to go ahead and migrate to in the coming years, and it's a good place to go ahead and be. The main features there being long short form videos, evergreen search, which I'll touch on a little bit later, and community posts. If anybody has any questions, like I said, feel free to leave them into the chat, but I'm just going to continue along. If I don't see anything, go ahead and pop up. So, okay, great. Quick social platform breakdown. I kind of touched a little bit about this in the prior one, but this is just to go ahead and give you a snapshot of the demographics and the general kind of best practice downsides for each platform. So you can see Facebook goes ahead and is probably one of the older skewing platforms aside from LinkedIn. Age there 25 to 54. The main purpose there is for going ahead and building and keeping relationships for the general population. This is best for going ahead and for businesses, for building brand loyalty, event hosting, and local advertising. And the downsides for Facebook would be the limited reach you go ahead and get outside of your network. So that's one of the biggest downsides, as opposed to something like a TikTok, Facebook, and even Instagram nowadays. Instagram used to be a lot better with their organic reach, but In more recent years, especially with the algorithm changing, it's been the Wild West, but Facebook's probably one of the worst when it comes to organic reach outside of, your followers or your friend network. So just note that. And then for Facebook, that's why it would be a good place to leverage something like advertising. Next, you have Instagram, skews a bit younger. Main purpose for the general population being conversation, inspiration. It's really good for lead generation and e-commerce. I'm going to go ahead and put a caveat on lead generation. Like I said, the algorithm changes all the time and the organic reach isn't as good as it used to be. But e-commerce is still really, really great. They have a bunch of e-commerce integrations and make it really easy for businesses to go ahead and be able to sell their products just directly to consumers without having to go ahead and just jump out of the platform. So the conversion rates can tend to go ahead and be a lot higher as opposed to having to link out to your website to go ahead and purchase your product. So definitely recommend Instagram e-commerce integrations if you have, if you're selling a product or any type of sort, like definitely recommend that. Downsides there, it's a very crowded space. Most businesses, when they go ahead and choose to leverage social media, will go ahead and by default go onto Instagram. So it can be a bit of a crowded space. And just also know the fact that it's image or video only, so it's a little bit more effort to go ahead and post as opposed to Facebook, where you can go ahead and do text post and call it a day. You do have to go ahead and post either image or video. Next is TikTok, skews younger, 16 to 24. Main purpose there being for entertainment. Really, really good for lead generation, one of the best. And they also go ahead and have really good e-commerce integrations, which they've been pushing in more recent years. The downsides there being the fact that it's video only format, and so again, more effort to go ahead and post, and the engagement can go ahead and be a bit of a short term, just in terms of the fact that the content there is a lot shorter and the attention spans are a lot shorter, so you're not necessarily going to build as much of a loyal base on TikTok as opposed to other platforms. Then LinkedIn skews, like I said, a bit older, ages 35 to 55. Purpose there being for news, articles, and business networking. Great for business development and lead generation, again, for B2B. Downside there being the fact that you have limited interactions as opposed to other social platforms like Facebook or Instagram. You can go ahead and post, you can share things, but it's not like you can go ahead and, create videos and app, or go ahead and you can do polls, but there's, like I said, a lot more limited interactions. And low trust outside of your network. Just the nature of LinkedIn being the fact that it's a professional platform, it does take a bit to go ahead and build that trust and credibility. So just note that when it comes to reaching out to people outside of your network. And then finally, you have YouTube. YouTube is probably the broadest age range here, 18 to 49. The purpose there being for education and entertainment. And I find it best for going ahead and building brand loyalty and building trust. The downsides there being the fact that it's really, really video heavy. Even more so, you could say, than TikTok. Even though TikTok is all videos, it's mostly short form. They've been pushing more long form in the recent years. I think they're up to like 10 minutes now is the maximum amount, maybe 15. But YouTube, you can go ahead and long form content could be hours long. And being the fact that it's entirely video, it's been video since the day when it came out. High quality is needed because the space has so many other creators that create good high quality content. So the caveat there. Okay, great. Okay, so this is kind of a super quick crash course about how to get started basically by platform. I've gone ahead and tried to compress this section down to basically just the absolute basics of like a strategy of posting onto each and what you should look to be doing as a business owner trying to post on these platforms. So for Facebook, again, for local businesses, you want to create a Facebook business page to share updates, promote products and services, and engage with your customers. It's also really good / important to go ahead and join relevant Facebook groups related to your industry and to connect with potential customers. There's tons and tons of Facebook groups out there that you can go ahead and join, either with your business page or with your personal page, to connect with people who are interested with your product or who are interested in the industry that you're looking to market to. So it's a great place to go ahead and to not only get insights about your audience, but also to go ahead and promote your brand, as long as it's a group where you can put promotions. Instagram, really, really good for any type of e-commerce retailer if you do any type of online sales with your product or your service. So for there, you're going to want to create an Instagram business account. This can either be a professional account or I want to say it's a creator account. And to go ahead and showcase your products or services through Instagram stories, IGTV, and Reels. Those are some of the best formats for Instagram, which I'll touch on a little bit later. And then you also want to go ahead and leverage Instagram shopping. I had mentioned earlier how it's fantastic, it's great. If you have an e-commerce website, you can integrate it with Instagram shopping, so you don't have to necessarily pay for the Instagram shopping fee. But if you don't have a website, or if you don't have an e-commerce store, then you can just directly do it within Instagram. I believe there is a slight fee to go ahead and to do that, but I have to go ahead and double check exactly how much it is. But again, still a great tool to go ahead and use. I see, Christina, you have a question. Is there any way to make Facebook business page without starting from a personal page? So I believe you do have to go ahead and you have to have a personal page to create a business page, unfortunately. You can always go ahead and create just a fake, personal page. You can go ahead and create a page that just doesn't have any information on it. You don't necessarily have to have anything front and center, but you do need to have one that's linked just so they can go ahead and connect the two accounts together. But no one will be able to go ahead and see your information. Whatever you post in your personal account will not be posted onto your business account. So there won't be any crossover between the two, but you do need to have one to go ahead and then create a business page. From what I remember. So unfortunately, yes. But yeah, I hope that answered your question. Okay, great. Then there's TikTok, really good for trendy e-commerce retailers and restaurants. Restaurants are really good, especially knowing the fact that it's food can be such a visual thing. And the same thing goes also for Instagram too. Restaurants also really good for Instagram. So for TikTok, there you want to go ahead and create engaging and entertaining videos, emphasis on the entertaining videos that showcase your products and services in a unique way using TikTok's trending music and templates. So for TikTok, it's really important to go ahead and to be entertaining or engaging, or even just a little bit educational, but very much entertaining. Sorry, my cat's trying to cross. Go ahead. So for TikTok, entertaining videos, very much so what you want to go ahead and be posting on there. And then again, TikTok also goes and has their shopping features to go ahead and allow customers to go ahead and shop easily in platform. Okay, so we have another question, Julianne. What's the best way to gain traffic on a dormant Facebook business page? So in terms of going ahead and starting back up again, I would go ahead and start with going ahead and posting on a consistent basis. Do you really want to go ahead and kind of jumpstart to go ahead and show the algorithm the fact that you're back, and that you're trying to go ahead and now consistently engage. It doesn't necessarily have to be like an everyday thing. Again, I try to emphasize to most of the clients that I work with to try to just start off with just like once a week and go up from there. The more the better, but at least once a week is kind of a baseline. So go ahead and posting consistently. You also want to go ahead and reach out to those people who were your followers from the dormant page, if you do have followers on the page, to go ahead and again jumpstart the engagement, to go ahead and have them then being more easily able to see your content. So when you engage with somebody, they're more likely to see your content because it shows the fact that you guys are connected. You're looking to go ahead and engage, and it'll more likely to go ahead and boost your content to those people so that it goes ahead and comes up on their feed, so that way they can go ahead and then in exchange engage with your content and like your content. So yeah, consistently posting, engaging with other people who are your prior followers, reaching out to people who are on your competitors' pages or people who are industry adjacent pages, reaching out to their pages and going ahead and liking their content, following them. So just showing the social platforms the fact that you're back, you're engaged, and you're doing exactly what they want you to do, and that is be social. And then the last thing you can probably go ahead and do is, of course, advertise. If you have additional funds, like I said, you can go ahead and advertise for about $2 a day. That's a good way to go ahead and inject just a bit of extra oomph into your Facebook page to go ahead and drive in those new followers. and Facebook has really, really good, they're probably one of the best platforms when it comes to paid ads. So yeah, that's what I would probably recommend. I hope that answered your question. Okay, moving on to LinkedIn, again, business to business. So for LinkedIn, you want to go ahead and create a LinkedIn company page. That is to go ahead and establish your brand's presence. And then you can also go ahead and share industry related content, job openings and updates. It just establishes your professionalism as a brand and it makes it look a little more legit. And you can also participate in LinkedIn groups as well and creating discussion posts. Discussion posts are some of the best ways that you can go ahead and get engagement and start to go ahead and get to build that trust and the credibility on LinkedIn. But discussion posts, I mean, either that's reposting article, sharing some thought-provoking opinions or thoughts about your industry, to go ahead and to start a conversation with people who are other professionals or potential clients. So LinkedIn's all about the discussions and sharing of knowledge. So that's going to be your key there. And then finally, last but not least, YouTube. So anybody who's in anybody who's a service-based business or an expertise-based business, I do recommend, again, love YouTube. You want to create a YouTube channel, you can go ahead and share educational content, product demos, customer testimonials, and behind-the-scenes footage. And you really want to go ahead and optimize your video content for search. So one of the best things about YouTube is the fact that they're owned by Google. They have an amazing search function as compared to other social platforms where searching for content is a bit harder. But on YouTube, it's very, very, very tailored and really great. So when you go ahead and you post your video, you really want to go ahead and optimize your title, your tags, everything about it to optimize for search. Think about what people might be searching when they go ahead and find your video or want to find your video, whether that's a how-to tutorial or product demo. You want to optimize all of your titles and your words to go ahead and be optimized for search.
Okay. Natalie?
Yes.
There's 2 questions in the chat.
2 additional questions?
No, you answered those questions.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you answered them? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, great. Alrighty. Okay, Facebook post formats. So we got, in terms of, this is basically, I wanted to go ahead and tell you these slides to go ahead and show basically just a breakdown of all the different types of posts that you can post across each platform. I'd like to go ahead and tell most of my clients to go ahead and leverage all of these formats and see which formats might work best for you. Some formats are going to be a little bit more effort, some of them are going to be a little bit less, but you do want to go ahead and create a mix of different types of formats to go ahead and keep your followers engaged. So for Facebook, you can go ahead and do pictures. So those are single images, or you can do image galleries, which are basically like carousels on Instagram, showcasing products, events, behind the scenes moments. So that's one. Videos and reels, you have both long and short form videos. You can go ahead and post on Facebook. Videos all across the board are pretty much king. On social media, it's very visual, it's very engaging, and it's going to go ahead and drive some of the most eyeballs, the most engagement. It's just really great across the board. So I highly recommend videos and reels. Then there's links. So you can go ahead and basically post links, whether that be like, article, something thought-provoking in your blog, something that you went ahead and posted yourself, and you can add your comments to it. So that's a really good low-ish effort way to go ahead and create posts for Facebook. If you see something thought-provoking, you can always reshare it and then just add a little blurb about, your thoughts to go ahead and start an engagement. And then last, you have surveys and polls. So these are questions asked to followers to gain feedback or to foster engagement. Is another really good way. I love polls across the board. Most social platforms, you can go ahead and create polls. So I really like polls because it tends to go ahead and get people to go ahead and engage with your content more versus just posting a picture and just hoping somebody would like it. People like to go ahead and push buttons and ask questions or answer questions because everyone wants to give their opinions and wants to be a part of something. So I tend to find that it goes ahead and gets really good engagement. So yeah. Then we have Instagram post formats. So you have carousels. which are basically just multiple images or videos in a single post. You'll be able to go ahead and swipe through and see, again, the multiple versus just a single image. I usually don't recommend going ahead and just posting a single image on Instagram. You're going to go have a lot more engagement from something like a carousel versus just a single image post. So if you can, just post more. If you're going to post a picture, post more pictures on Instagram. Not so much on Facebook. Facebook can be a little bit funky when it comes to multiple images or carousels. So, but this is specifically for Instagram. Then there's Reels, which is short form videos up to 60 seconds, used for entertaining, engaging content, and things such as challenges or trends. And then you also have stories. So stories are a little bit different than Reels in the sense where it's, well, it is still a video, or it could be, you know, an image. It's going ahead and it's inside of a separate place. Your Reels are going to go ahead and be inside your regular feed or inside the Reels discovery section, but your stories are more of a personal place. They appear right on the top of your screen when you open up on Instagram. It'll be highlighted by, you know, individual people's pictures, and it gives you more of kind of, like I said, behind the scenes, intimate, kind of like off the cuff content. And I always tend to go ahead and recommend to my clients to go ahead and just be as candid and as transparent and kind of, like I said, off the cuff as, you know, you can, with, of course, certain boundaries. You don't want to go ahead and say anything that's, you know, too, you don't want to go ahead and say anything that you wouldn't want to go ahead and share out to others, but it can be a lot more candid than something like, you know, a formal post or a reel. And then finally, you have live videos. So these are real-time video broadcasts that are perfect for Q&A sessions, product launches, or event coverage. So it's a place where you can go ahead and live stream and go ahead and engage with your audience in real time. And people can go ahead and pop in, pop out. So yeah, if you ever do any types of large, you know, events or product launches, it's really good for those. Okay, moving along to TikTok. So you have short videos, which is kind of just the default on TikTok. You're not going to get much outside of just, like I said, the video content. It's going to either be short form video, which is, again, the traditional style of TikTok videos. Those are up to 60 seconds in length, often featuring creative edits, music effects, and different trends. But in more recent years, they've been trying to go ahead and come a bit for YouTube. So now they're going ahead and shifting over to longer form content. So now they go ahead, I believe it's up to 10 minutes right now. It might be 15 minutes. I have to double check on that, but videos up to 10 minutes in length, allowing for more in-depth content like tutorials and storytelling. Storytelling is really big on TikTok. So that's another thing to go ahead and basically just give you more in-depth content and information. Then you have duets and reactions. So that's basically your video superimposed on somebody else's video, whether that's you reacting to something or you going ahead and filling in the blanks. You know, you might have someone's video who might be asking, you know, a question like, you know, what was, you know, the weirdest thing that you ever ate? And you would then go ahead and superimpose your video next to that video to go ahead and answer the question that the person went ahead and posed. And then finally, you have challenges. So that's basically participating in or even creating hashtag challenges, whether that be dance challenges or weird food challenges, where, you know, I think back in the day, they had the cinnamon challenge was like the OG challenge, but like challenges where you go ahead and do weird, quirky, or like fun things that other people are doing and go ahead and showcase that. It also helps you to go ahead and engage with a larger community and also to increase visibility as a brand, because again, it's a lot of these times, like these challenges are very trendy, so people like to go ahead and watch them and see different people's takes on them or the reactions. So it's a good way to go ahead and increase their visibility as a brand. Okay, then YouTube. So you have videos. YouTube is pretty much the king of videos. High quality content uploaded to YouTube, including tutorials, product reviews, vlogs, or brand storytelling. Then you have shorts, which are videos up to 60 seconds length, similar to TikTok's baseline videos. Both of them have now kind of producing a lot of the same content at this point. And then you have live streams, which again is similar in a sense to Instagram's live streams, except it's just on the YouTube platform. Again, good for hosting Q&A sessions, product launches, or live events. And then finally, you have community posts, which if you are on YouTube, it's definitely a thing that's becoming more and more popular for a lot of creators to leverage. So you can go ahead and it helps to go ahead and foster loyalty and just overall just like good brand sentiments and connections with your followers. You can do post quizzes and GIFs, text images, updates, just to connect with your audience outside of video uploads. Okay, and last but not least, we have LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, you can go ahead and do text posts, which is pretty much the default. Very straightforward, low effort. You can go ahead and type out a post and put it out there. I usually go ahead and recommend going ahead and asking questions to the general audience to go ahead and engage the discussions like we talked about earlier. You can share industry insights, thought leadership, business updates. Then there's articles. So that's basically going ahead and seeing a great article that goes ahead and relates to your business or the industry that you're in and sharing that to your followers. But a lot of times, like I said, you want to go ahead and include your opinions or your thoughts on it to go ahead and create the discussion. Then you also have presentations, which is a fun one. So that one, basically, you can literally go ahead and add, like I said, I gotta take this presentation and you could post the whole thing onto LinkedIn. If you have, a work presentation or something that you were pitching to a client, or, something that you want to go ahead and share about your expertise in the industry, it's a really good way to go ahead and to share it out. I love that LinkedIn goes ahead and does this, so it's really cool. And then finally, you have updates. That's basically just company news, achievements, or milestones that are relevant to a professional audience on LinkedIn. But if you're on LinkedIn for your business, you really do want to go ahead and share those milestones and those updates, because it goes ahead and shows the fact that your business is growing, it's credible, it's it's doing good things. So yeah. All right, awesome. Okay, so that's kind of the summary of the deep dive. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them into the chat. But that kind of gives you just an idea of the formatting of the different types of formats that you can go ahead and post on each platform. Okay, with that out the way, we'll go ahead and touch on the audience. So understanding your audience is really, really crucial when it comes to social. It goes ahead and helps you to tailor your social media efforts effectively. If you don't know your audience, it's going to go ahead and lead you to going just posting into the ether, not going ahead and getting a ton of good engagement, and just putting time and effort into something that's really not going to go ahead and move the needle. So you really want to go ahead and take the time to try to understand your market in terms of their demographics, their interests, their preferences, so you can create content that goes ahead and really resonates with them. So some things to understand. So what's important? Platforms, number one. So what platforms do they frequent? What times of days are they most likely to engage with their content? So that's something that can go ahead and vary from business to industry. You really want to go ahead and think about, the type of content that you make and what times of the day the general population will go ahead and most likely look at it. As a general rule of thumb, I always tend to go ahead and recommend post earlier, the better. The earlier that you go ahead and post, the more eyeballs that you're going to go ahead and get on, your post. When you think about it, if you were to go ahead and post on, at 2:00 p.m., people who were on social media, when they first woke up in the morning at like 9 a.m., they're not going to go ahead and be able to go ahead and see your post, more than likely. I mean, they might go ahead and, like I said, recycle through the next day, but chances are a lot higher if you were to go ahead and post it, like say 8 a.m., for the entire day. The people who go ahead and log on at 2:00, people who log on at 10 o'clock, they'll be able to go ahead and see your post. And the times and the days of the week, usually on average, like Monday through Fridays tend to go ahead and be like the best times. Like I said, again, it varies by industry, but the weekends, when you think about it, most people don't necessarily go ahead and most people are going ahead, a lot of people are doing things on the weekends outside of social media, whether it's events or, going to the bars or wherever. But Monday through Friday, you're more than likely to go ahead and to pop on before work, or if you're on the train or after hours and you're tired, you don't want to go ahead, you just want to unplug and decompress, you're scrolling. So think about your own habits when it comes to the platforms and days and times. Then also pages and influencers. So what pages or influencers would your audience follow? Can you engage with these pages that they go ahead and follow? Can you go ahead and create posts on them? Like, let's say on like a Facebook group. I always like to go ahead and give the assignment to all of my clients, especially when they first start going ahead and really getting into social, to go ahead and basically do a competitive kind of deep dive landscape into going ahead and looking at all of their competitor pages or adjacent industry pages, and take a look at what type of posts are they posting, what's the format of the post, you know, what days are they posting, just get a like maybe like a top five you know, competitors or adjacent pages or adjacent businesses, and really kind of do a social media deep dive onto like what they're doing, what their strategy is, and see if you can go ahead and not necessarily copy what they're doing, but to go ahead and take some insights from it and leverage it for your own business. And use it as inspiration, not copy, but inspiration. Next, interest. So what topics interest your audience? That kind of ties in well with the pages, just going ahead and getting an idea of what type of interest can you go ahead and incorporate into your content. Even if it isn't entirely related, hopefully it's somewhat related, but finding cool and creative ways to go ahead and integrate that with your content is always really good. And then lastly, pain points and needs, which is probably one of the most important things about going ahead and actually creating posts on social. So what does your audience want to go ahead and know relative to your business, of course, you know, whether it's, you know, things, you know, about, you know, specifically your product, you know, that people might be confused about, things that they might not necessarily know about your product that are like interesting or exciting. What type of issues are you trying to go ahead and solve with your product? You know, how can you go ahead and address those in a way, you know, that speaks to your audience that you can go ahead and convey instead of, you know, a video post. So going ahead and taking some of those issues or those problems or those needs and going ahead and making content out of it and providing value. Because at the end of the day, for the most part, you're going to go ahead and want your social presence to go ahead and provide value to people. That's how you're going to go ahead and get followers. That's how you're going to go ahead and get engagement and providing value. I always tend to go ahead and tell people not to go ahead and to promote too much. I know it's really hard as a business because at the end of the day, you know, from your social efforts, the amount of time and effort that you spend into something, you want to go ahead and get something back, and you want to go ahead and promote your product. You know, that's why you're there. But I very err on the side of, you know, very minimum promotion and more about providing the value. You know, from the value, you're going to go ahead and get that engagement and eventually those sales from it. But you really do need to inject the value into it first. Okay, great. All right, we're coming up towards the end. So we're gonna get a little more tactical with it. So these are basically posting techniques and tips. This is all about basically streamlining your posting process. So by streamlining the process and making it super easy and simple for you to go ahead and to post, so now you can maintain a consistent and an engaging presence, which will eventually go ahead and then result in more followers, engagements, and then sales, which we all love. Okay, so in terms of, I always like to go ahead and to, again, make social media posting as simple as possible, make everything into templates. Templates going ahead and just being boxes that you can go ahead and fit your content in to make it less work for you to go ahead and have to, you know, come up with some, you know, brand new, you know, pulling out of a hat idea. You can go ahead and just, like I said, be kind of almost like a morning routine in a sense, that you can go ahead and plug and play with. So in terms of content template types, you have entertainment content, so that's memes, jokes, puzzles, contests, giveaways, anything of the sort that's going to go ahead and be entertaining. You have educational content, so those are tips, tricks, blog posts, infographics, tutorials, guides, articles, anything that's going to go ahead and provide anything, like I said, of educational value. Interactive posts, so those are quizzes, polls, and Q&As. Promotional content, which is product shots, updates, new releases, product reviews, and discounts. And then lastly, there's user-generated content. So those reposting basically follower content or even non-follower content that might be aligned with your business, and influencers. There's, of course, probably other different types of post formats, but these are kind of the general basics. And these are kind of where I like to go ahead and have boxes so I can go ahead and plug and play with the content, you know? So based off of these content types, you can then go ahead and create a content mix. So with your content mix, it basically is a mix of the types of posts that you're gonna go ahead and be posting. It gives you a good idea of kind of just like how much of what posts you wanna go ahead and post, and how frequently you wanna go ahead and post those. So with any type of content mix, you wanna mix up your content between, you know, whether it's photo posts, videos, links, polls, you know, educational videos, meme videos, behind the scenes. But like I had mentioned earlier, you want to keep the promotional content to a limit. You want to be creating value rather than consistently trying to sell to your followers. So this little chart over here is basically just like a little, it's an example, but it's actually a decent mix for the most part. Going ahead and having educational videos being the most forward one, meme videos following up second. So the educational going ahead and providing the value, meme videos providing the education, polls at about 15%, going ahead and providing the engagement, behind the scenes, creating the trust and credibility. And then the very last, going ahead and having that product promotion, because of course you still want to let people know the fact that you are a business and you are indeed selling something, but not shoving it down their throat all the time. So just to give a good idea of a bit of a mix. And then with that mix, then you could take that mix and plop it into a content calendar. So content calendar is basically just a detailed overview of your upcoming social media post, organized by date and time. You can be as detailed or as less detailed as you want to go ahead and be on the content calendar. It's really about providing yourself with something easy that you can go ahead and use. So you can go ahead and use your content calendar to plan out posting days, times, the mix, the type of post creative, the post links, just having it all in one place. So this is a really brief, simple example of a content calendar specifically for Instagram. So you can see this calendar, they're posting every day. You don't have to post every day, but just to go ahead and give an example, and you can see they have a bit of a mix of content. So they have a mix of, you have a influencer interview one day, you have user-generated content the next day, product education video the following day, a Q&A promo the next day, photos, product education promo bundles. Each day or each time that they're posting is something a little bit different, and you can go ahead and of course reuse the same templates and formats on a week-by-week basis, but each time you post, you don't necessarily go ahead and post, educational video, educational video, educational video, and educational video just constantly back to back to back. You want to create some type of break in the content that you're going ahead and making. So yeah, highly recommend content calendars. It keeps you honest, keeps you staying on track, and it helps you to go ahead and plan out your posts so that way you can go ahead and then post it on a consistent basis, because consistency is king when it comes to social. All the social platforms across the board are going to go ahead and reward people who post consistently with, promoting their content to more people, going ahead and recommending it to more people. Is one of those kind of unfortunate kind of things where it's like, social media can really become a full-time job, especially if you let it be. But with tools like content calendars, it really goes and helps to go ahead and just make it a lot easier for you to go ahead and just keep up with it, especially when you have so many other things going on as a small business owner. One more point I do want to make about this is to go ahead and try to batch make content. So batch making content is basically just making, as much content as you can, within the course of like, a certain time frame, but not posting it. Going ahead, you want to build up a kind of a repository of, a handful of posts. Let's say a post that will last you like, a week's worth of content, or maybe 2 weeks worth of content, or you can even do up to a month's worth of content. You don't want to go ahead and, build it up too much. I don't want you to go ahead and have to just keep putting it off because you're like, I don't have enough content. But you want to go ahead and at least, maybe have like, 2 to 3, posts saved up. So that way, when it's time, you can go ahead and schedule those content to go ahead and be posted out, that week or whenever you want to post it. So that way you already have posts going out while you're making new content. So you can go ahead and have you can keep a more consistent schedule when you have a batch of content already made. And then you can go ahead and as you're putting out content, you can be making new content. So it's a good way to go ahead and just get ahead of the curve and not necessarily have to manage as much and having to go ahead and post, at 9 a.m. and you're freaking out and you're frenzying. You're like, I gotta go ahead and get this posted by like 9:30, and you're like, ah. So it goes ahead and helps you just to go ahead and get it done ahead of time, so you don't have to stress out all about all that. Okay. So yeah. Okay, and then this one I just went ahead and threw in this slide. It's kind of just like a platform specific techniques. So this is very in this moment of time. Social media is constantly changing, but these are just really good strategies that I found for each platform that, or my top strategy for each platform that I usually like to go ahead and use. So for Facebook, Canva templates, I made this whole presentation in Canva. I love Canva. I can't speak more highly about Canva. It's free to use. All business owners should go ahead and use it. If you use the free, the paid, whatever you want to go ahead and do, but you can make some really nice graphics, and there's a bunch of pre-made templates in Canva that make basically posting just a lot easier. So creating standardized templates for different types of posts in Canva can really help to streamline the posting process and help maintain a consistency when it comes to your branding. So can't highly recommend that enough, especially for Facebook. With Instagram actually has built-in templates into the platform. When you go ahead and post a new video, a new reel, there will be an option at the top of the screen. I'm not entirely sure if you can see it from the picture, but there's actually a templates button, and you can click on it and you can go ahead and basically take other people's reels that they've gone ahead and made, and they'll have like a certain template, which they'll have, where it's like a video that's chopped up into 5 different parts, and it's like certain zooms and certain cuts and stuff like that. And so you can take that template that they went ahead and used and plop in your own videos to go ahead and just make it look seamless and beautiful, and use the same audio that they went ahead and used, and it just makes posting a lot easier on Instagram. You can also use Canva too, but since Instagram has templates built into it, definitely recommend using that. For TikToks is a space where you really want to try to go ahead and keep an eye on just the latest trends. TikTok moves really quickly, and it's all about the trends. So going ahead and keeping an eye on trending hashtags and memes within your niche, and to create content that goes ahead and lines with these trends to go ahead and increase your visibility and engagement, is going to be really kind of where it's at for TikTok. For LinkedIn, you want to really go ahead and share your curated content. So keeping up with the latest industry news, thought leadership articles, or relevant blog posts from other sources to supplement your original content, of course. LinkedIn's a space where you want to go ahead and show off your chops as a professional and as a business owner, to go and share your expertise, because you're going to be marketing to other people who have expertise inside of their area, and they want to make sure the fact that the person that they go ahead and work with also has expertise in the area. So curated content is going to be your best friend. And then lastly, I touched on this a little bit earlier, but YouTube search optimization is going to be really your key. So researching keywords and topics that your audience is searching for, and then incorporating those keywords into your video titles, descriptions, and tags to help improve your visibility there. So yeah, so those are kind of my top tips for each platform when it comes to just posting. And here's just some general tips and tricks across the board. So going ahead and I kind of hammered this in at this point, but being consistent, regular posting schedule, try to post at least once a week if you can on just one platform. Get started, and just like I said, just dive in and just, like I said, one post a week if you can. It really goes ahead and helps establish your credibility, your trust, and also to go ahead and have the algorithm recognize you and to go promote your content to other people. Providing value, again, I've hammered this home enough, but value is going to be really your best friend when it comes to going ahead and getting that traction that you want from your followers. Content that educates, entertains, or solves a problem. And then just the last point, just go for it. Don't wait, don't get rid of the buts and the but I can'ts and the I don't know how to, like, just go for it. You're going to learn as you go, you're going to get better as you go. And if you keep putting it off, it's just never going to happen. Okay, I've been in that position before myself. I've gone ahead and seen plenty of other business owners and other clients of mine who it's a fear. It's a fear that goes ahead and freezes you, but you just got to just push through it and just do that first post. Once you just go ahead and get through that first post, or you go ahead and get back on the horse again, it can become so much easier. So just keep pushing and trust yourself, because you got this. So yeah, this over here, just to go ahead and kind of close it out. I think we're actually able to close it out early, unless anybody has any additional questions. But here's a video reference slide, which basically goes ahead and has links to a bunch of tutorials on how to create, like, the absolute basics of how to create an account, how to go ahead and post, how to create, like, certain types. Like I have how to create a meme / GIF reel on Instagram. I will be sharing out these slides. I know somebody had asked earlier. We do have the recording on Facebook, but I will be sharing out the slides, so you will have these links so you can go ahead and click and dive into them and go ahead and basically just get started. So yeah, that's there for reference. Oh, I see. Okay, we have a question. Can you dive a bit more into Facebook ads and how to start with a budget? Okay. I do actually have a presentation specifically for ads. I know for this one it was just mostly about content creation, but in terms of Facebook ads, for most business owners, I usually go ahead and recommend just boosting posts. Just to start off, you don't necessarily need to go ahead and do, Facebook, the whole Facebook ads, platform built on it and everything like that. You can get more into the weeds that way, but again, especially if you're starting off and you're going ahead and just getting your feet wet, boosting post. And when it comes to boosting your post, you were to go ahead and post like you would post organically, whether that's an image or a picture or anything like that, you post it out. There should be a little blue button underneath the post where it says boost post. And from there, you can go ahead and basically target. You can go ahead and set your target as wide or as broad as you want. I usually would recommend going ahead and keeping it, within, a reasonable age range. You don't want to go ahead and go too wide, or too small. You don't want to keep it too narrow. Facebook is pretty good in terms of as you click through the demographics, it'll tell you how large the audience size is. You can see if it's, too broad, too small. There'll be like a little bar at the bottom that shows you from green to red. And you can go ahead and tell your audience that way to see how broad it is. I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and maybe pull it up in platform, but I know we're on a webinar, so there's a little bit of a limit what I can do. So I might just have to go ahead and just maybe include a slide on that when I go ahead and share out the slide. So I'll try to go ahead and include so you can see in platform. But in terms of how to start with a budget, you'll be able to go ahead and see when you boost a post based on your budget level, how many people you're going to be able to reach. When you first start off, I recommend keeping it to a minimum. You want to go ahead and learn. It's more of a learning process. You don't want to go ahead and pour all of your money into it before you know exactly how it's going to go ahead and work and how people are going to engage with your content. And Facebook will give you a recommended amount based on other business pages that are similar to yours. So they'll go ahead and be people who spend, $15, over the course of 3 days, will go ahead and get this many link clicks. So it's a plug and play. Just don't necessarily dump all your money into it. I wouldn't necessarily go ahead and spend too little, too much. You can do anywhere from $5 a day, $10 a day to start off. I wouldn't go ahead and do anything crazy. Mostly go ahead and just when you're first starting off, just keep your budget in mind, I feel for the most part, because it's mostly just a test to learn when you start off. I hope I answered that question for you. And then we have another question from Rick. What are your thoughts on producing ads with AI? I guess it depends on the question of to what degree are you using AI to produce the ads. If you're just looking to go ahead and use ChatGPT to go ahead and create ideas for ads, or to help to go ahead and create text or copy for ads, that's totally fine. You can go ahead and, of course, just with the caveat, the fact that if you're using it to go and produce copy for you, I would just make sure that you go ahead and review over it. Okay, so he said animations or short reels. I don't love going ahead and using AI to go ahead and create any types of shorts or reels or videos. I know AI is going to kind of come a long way from where it was before, but I feel there's still some room for it to look a little bit wonky sometimes when it goes ahead and puts out, especially videos or pictures. I feel there's enough tools nowadays, especially with something like Canva, to go ahead and to just produce it yourself. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. If I understand if you don't necessarily have the time, why you would go ahead and leverage it. But if you can, my recommendation is to go ahead and use something like Canva to go ahead and produce ads, or it is to take the videos yourself. Again, it's not necessarily it's the worst thing in the world. I know people do go ahead and leverage it, with good results. I just knowing I've seen some AI generated videos out there that you can tell it's AI generated, and that can go ahead and lower the credibility of your business and go ahead and maybe put a sour taste in some people's mouths especially for if you have, it can be a little bit of a touchy place to be in. So my recommendation is to produce your own content, but understand if you don't necessarily have the time to do that, but I would stray away. Okay. I hope I answered your question. And then Christina, do you have any tutorials or best practices for making videos, Facebook videos to sell products? I can go ahead and I can include it in the back slides. I'm sure that there probably is specifically for making videos. Do you mean like as in just a promotional video to go ahead and sell on Facebook, or do you mean to like an integrated Facebook kind of post to sell products? Okay, sell products. Okay. Yeah, I can go ahead. I think I can include a tutorial on best practices. In terms of, I guess, selling products on, I guess I would have to know your question just a little bit more. Like, just again, is it a promotional, or are you looking to actually sell in platform? I feel like for any type of like promotional stuff on Facebook, there's gonna go ahead and be a certain type of a linking to the website store. Okay, yeah. For linking to the website store, I can post a tutorial on there about how to go ahead and go about that. But in terms of linking, best practices for going ahead and linking to go ahead and sell your products. One of two ways: when you post organically, you want to go ahead and make sure if you're not doing a Facebook ad, you have the link as high as you can. You do want to give a little bit of a background about what the link is driving to and what you're selling, but you want to have the link as clickable as possible, so that way people don't have to necessarily click the see more to actually go ahead and go to your page to purchase. So you just want to have it, try to go ahead and get it as high as possible. But if you're doing an ad, really easy. You don't even have to have a link inside of the actual post itself, because Facebook will give you the option to go ahead and have a button there to go ahead and take them directly to the store website where they can purchase from there. In terms of the actual content itself, I can include a video on in terms of how to talk to people and how to word, how to promote your products and services, stuff like that. So I can include that in there. But my biggest best practice would be just make sure the link is easily clickable inside of the description or inside the button for the ad, because you want to make it as easy as possible. People don't like to look for things, especially if they have to actually buy them. And of course, thank you. Okay. What ideas can you provide for photos for restaurants? So for restaurants, while I do, photos are great. If you can, videos, especially for food is, again, one of the most visual things that you can interact with people, to go ahead and engage with food with their five senses, and as close as you can get to their five senses, the better. So if you can, really go ahead and strive for the videos so you can get those close-up shots and those pull aparts and the glistening and everything like that. So definitely videos. But if you were to go ahead and do photos, any type of photo that's going to go ahead and really just showcase the beauty of the food, really, just really close-ups. You can always, of course, go ahead and have photos of people going ahead and eating the food, especially if it's customers who are really enjoying it. If you can go ahead and get some influencers. Influencers are also go ahead and good for that too, to go ahead and showcase the fact that they like the product. But yeah, those, just let the food speak for itself. Yeah, the food will talk. The food will talk. Doing close-ups, and then just making sure that when you do post pictures for your restaurant, making sure the fact that you have very good lighting, and your camera's clean, especially because again, food is such a visual thing. You want it to go ahead and be in the best light possible. But you can go ahead and do things like themed stuff for holidays. So if it's a Cinco de Mayo, you got tacos. If you got St. Patty's Day. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that you can go ahead and do for the holidays. Showcasing, or even going ahead and putting out a poll out there for people to go ahead and see what types of dishes they might be interested in, what they enjoy, eating, what do they have a certain ingredient that they prefer to go ahead and see in this dish or that dish, or voting on their favorite dish in your restaurant. Yeah, like I said, for restaurants, it's mostly going to be about showcasing just the food. I can go ahead and I'll provide a link. I need to write all these links down. I'll try to provide a link for like some ideas for specific ideas for restaurants. I go ahead and work with a lot of retailers and consumer packaged goods. So off the top of my head, I don't necessarily have ideas, but I can go ahead and post a link in this reference page for some ideas. And I definitely recommend, especially for restaurants, going ahead and looking at other restaurant pages. Most restaurants you're going to find on Instagram or TikTok, and you can get some really good ideas from just looking and just scrolling through your feed and just going ahead and being like, oh, I kind of like that post. Let me see how I can go ahead and put a little spin or a twist on it. So yeah, the links for restaurant. Okay, cool. All right. Are there any more questions? As we've reached the end. Okay, the Marie Canvas, upholstery business, is there any ideas that you may have? Or upholstering? Ooh, I feel like you can go ahead and like create some really great content because I mean, what you do is very creative. It's difficult to post that everything is handmade. But that's the beauty, actually, that's the beauty of something being handmade. I mean, do you have any past projects that you've gone ahead and worked on that you can go ahead and showcase in pictures? Or even if you have any types of projects that you can do on your own furniture or just free furniture that you go ahead and either find from Facebook Marketplace or from, you know, the junkyard. I would just go ahead and if you don't necessarily have clients right now, go ahead and find, you know, some type of, you know, free, easy way to go ahead and for you to make content or make some projects for yourself and showcase the process, you know, pull people for what they want to go ahead and see, you know, what color they think they should go ahead and do for this one, like, you know, what fabric they think. I actually follow somebody who goes ahead and does, you know, lots of, you know, DIY projects. And there was a point in time when she was reupholstering this old chair that was vintage. And she was going ahead and, like you said, pulling people about, like, you know, the colors and the style, you know, what they thought about this. Take them through the process. People love to see behind the scenes, especially with something that's like so niche as upholstering. Like, it's very, very niche. I mean, I'm interested in the process too. I can't upholster, but I would love to watch somebody go ahead and do it. Just like, you know, super close-up zooms, before and after shots. You have a lot to work with something as niche as that. And like I said, it's handmade, so that's beautiful. So I think you'll have a lot of good content to go ahead and work with. But like I said, just go ahead and just start your process as you normally do and maybe record the process. Oh, average age of boat owners is 30 to, oh, I see you're a marine upholsterer. Marine campus upholsterer. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, I didn't get the marine part. I didn't understand what you meant by the marine part. That makes a lot more sense for the boats. Okay, average age of boat owners is 30 to 70. I find it difficult to find something that they can relate to. That is totally fair. I feel like for knowing the age range of people that you're going ahead and looking for, I feel like it probably would be best to go ahead and convey more so, I guess, the benefits and the difference of your process as opposed to other processes. In the fact that everything is handmade for you, I would go ahead and really emphasize just the quality that's going to go ahead and come from something handmade versus something that's manufactured. So again, like talking about the process that you go ahead and do, the benefits, the results, if there's any way that you can go ahead and showcase, you know, how your product goes ahead and works compared to, like, you know, a different product, whether that's like, you know, splashing water on it or going ahead and just showing, you know, your differential. I feel like a lot of older demographics, they're more so here for, you know, the direct benefits that they're going to go ahead and get from a product or service, more so than the connection that you're going to find with younger audiences. So yeah, I'm not a boat owner, but we have several platforms that get stuck at posting what they would like. In fact, they don't know they need our service. Gotcha. Well, that would be kind of a thing, I guess, in terms of conveying that to them. And being the fact that, you know, you do something so niche, it would definitely be a benefit to people to go ahead and know more about the process. So I feel like it becomes an educational thing. So I think you definitely should go ahead and get on posting videos. It's going to be some of the easiest way that you can go ahead and convey kind of like the niche that you go ahead and do, as opposed to going ahead and posting a picture, having to have somebody read, you know, exactly what it is that you do instead of just telling them. So videos, educating them on the process, why they would need your product, how your product is differentiated from other products they go ahead and do a similar thing. And then, like I said, the process behind it to go ahead and be like, okay, this is how, we sew and how we go ahead and do it. And also, maybe a video on basically just like why you might need my services, and just be very open and transparent. But like I said, video format if you can. Okay. See, how do we get a CA4 trainer? Okay. Okay. I'm guessing that was for Miss for Jen, or for Miss.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. I hope I answered everyone's questions. I hope I answered your question, Catherine. I know it's very niche, but like I said, in your case, especially the fact that, I didn't even necessarily know, so I feel like education is definitely needed in your case, for your followers, and to go ahead and promote your products or services. But yeah, thank you. No, thank you, Rosanna. Thank you. Okay, how can I drive more sales when it comes to having such a niche heavy business? In terms of, I guess, sales through social media, being the fact that your business is so niche, it's definitely going to be a harder. You can't necessarily just integrate, Instagram, e-commerce into your platform. It's not gonna go ahead and be a thing people are gonna go ahead and be buying, but directing them to your website so they can go ahead and learn more. It definitely sounds like it's gonna be, being the fact that it's, I guess, Botox, I'm assuming it's probably gonna be a decent bit pricey. So I feel like a decision like that is gonna go ahead and go through, whether that's a consultation form or an email or a phone call, something that's going to direct them to your website to go ahead and to make that next leap. And in that sense, going ahead and making sure that your website is easily accessible, your website, your phone number, and your email as easily accessible as possible. So you want to have it high up on your social platforms, you want to have it inside your post, something that's going to be really easy for people to go ahead and contact you to make the sales process as short as possible. To have people, you have lots of people who are jumping off, lots of people who are bouncing, who might go ahead and be like, oh, this is taking too long, I don't want to have to deal with this. You're going to go ahead and get a lot of that if your sales process is too long, so just make it as succinct as possible so they can go ahead and get to sales quickly. And yeah, that's probably going to be your best bet in terms of, I guess, social for sales. Just streamline. Yes, of course. Thank you. Okay, great. If there isn't any more questions, and if there are, you can always go ahead and email me. I have my email address at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to take a screenshot if you need. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and be sending over the slides to all the participants today. But if that's everything, then thank you everyone for joining. We can go ahead and hop off now. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. You too, Catherine, have an extra wonderful night. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Night, Miss Kenya. Good night, Jen.